First off, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me on here
Thanks
for
for
my
being
first
here.
interview. And thank you to everybody that listens, and to everyone that does listen. Make sure you screenshot it and tag us. But first off, I'm
Definitely.
from Reading, Pennsylvania, born and raised,
Hey.
23 years old. Shout out to Reading, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of Reading. I'm proud. Went to Reading High. For those of you that don't know, I actually went to Reading High, and while missing, I transferred between schools 6 times.
What?
So what you guys were all talking about, I've witnessed both sides. It's crazy, but
We
so
really
basically
did have
this all
some
started.
colonizers.
This all started when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot of personal things in my life, and I came across a video one time on Facebook, and it was a motivational video. And the impact, his name is Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys ever heard about him. Do your research. It's, as far as like personal development, really good. So I seen a video, and it was it related to like what was going on in my life, and then like it just hit me. So then I was like, that same feeling that he gave me of him impacting my life, I was like, yo, I wonder how it feels to impact somebody else's life, regardless of everything that's going on in your personal life. And that's really what started it all. So I started getting into personal development when I was 16 years old. I got into network marketing. It has to do a lot with personal development and growing within yourself and helping the people out around you. And that's the thing about me. Like, I love helping people out. Like, when you have a conversation with me and I find out what you're doing, I'm going to try to figure out a way to help you out. And that's it. I swear, it's like, I'll talk to you for 5 minutes and I'll try to figure out a way to help you out. That's just the type of person I am. So 16, 17, I was going through that whole phase with basically my parents divorcing. So that hit me hard. I started working when I was 16 years old. No, when I was 15 years old. I was working at Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow, I remember that.
Yeah, this
Oh my
was
gosh,
like...
because
way
it was the
back.
one by Lancaster Ave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I was turning 15, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
I remember my aunt was a manager, and I was 14, and I was like, I want a job. And then that's when it all happened. So then that happened. I went through that whole phase with my parents, and then when I started network marketing and I started learning more about personal development and growing within myself, like little by little, it was just crazy with the business I was doing at that time, the impact I was having from being in the lunchroom, having everybody in tables and talking about how we're going to grow this with Gil, Mimi, I don't know if you guys remember any of that. That's really what started it all. And then when I was 17, when I graduated, class of 2014, shout out to everybody, class of 2014.
What's good?
After
You
I
old heads wouldn't know
graduated,
about that over here.
I just had a video.
when I graduated, it just hit me. Well, the company I was in, something happened. It went downhill. I told the whole team, mind you, I had people involved in like different states. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. I was like 16, 17 having meetings. Well, I was doing presentations with like 30-year-olds,
And
late
this is for what?
20-year-olds, network marketing.
Yeah. Just double checking.
So it was just crazy because I would speak in front of people and I would just grow. So then when I was 17, I moved out of my house right away. I grew up pretty fast. But I went through a lot pretty fast, which is kind of good because I experienced a lot and I still am. So then I remember in my apartment, I had this big whiteboard on my brick wall, and the word visionary was always in my head. Always vision, always in my head, all the time. Just, focus on your vision. So then the one time I'm sitting down, and at nighttime, I would always like turn off the lights, light up the candles, listen to music, and just think about life. And I wrote it on the whiteboard, and it was huge. And I took off the Y, I took off the second I, added an E, visionaire. The way it's pronounced is like visionaire, but I say visionaire. But you got to think about it like this, like Nike. Like if you would say back then, Nike, like you try to figure it out, you know? So it's like however you say, that's what it's going to be. And people ask me that all the time. And
I was thinking in my head,
and
I'm looking at your hat, and I'm just like,
So then it was a thing. Because when I was younger, the clothing thing really, I wasn't into fashion all like that. But I was like, yo, let me try something new. Let me see what happens with this. So I met 2 people, Christian and Carlos. Carlos, I haven't spoken to him in a while. Christian, he's a videographer. He's really dope. I'm always on top of him. So Christian, if you hear this, shout out to you, bro. So he taught me how to do like graphic designing. And then Carlos showed me video editing. Matter of fact, it's vice versa. Carlos did the graphic, Christian did the videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a little bit from them, from the softwares that they had. They put me onto it. And then I just started learning. I went on YouTube, I went on Google. I was like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And then sooner or later, I found out how to, really work with graphic designing, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And then with video editing, because I wanted to start doing videos too at the same time. My mind was everywhere. I was trying to do 2 different things at once. And that's one thing that I always tell people is like, yo, if you, like we were having a conversation earlier, like if you're afraid of doing something or you have never done something before, try it. Just do it, because you never know where it's going to land you to.
Right.
Like me starting this, all the connections I have built, all the people I've met, it's crazy, bro. Like artists that I listened to when I was 12 years old, that's my boy now.
Yeah.
And he's like insanely big, and I've known him for 2 years, and it's just like the progress is the best part about it. Like you got to enjoy the process of everything, and that's really what started it all. I mean, there's a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
wanted
crazy.
to quick ask you, backtracking a little bit, when you did start out with this whole visionaire thing. I remember, like, in high school, people were just like, yo, what's Centron doing? Like, what's this whole visionaire thing? What was that like when you were first coming into it? Because everybody was like, this ain't going to take off. I don't know what's going to go on with this. How'd you kind of combat
The
that?
thing is with that is that you're always going to get hate.
Yeah.
Or whatever you're going to do. And that's what you have to do. You have to silence out the noise. And that was my thing. And I learned that when I was 16, 17.
Yeah.
So my thing was, when I was in high school, I was always by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started doing what I was doing, that's when people started coming around. But outside of that, I was always by myself. I was always trying to figure out, like, what I want to do. And I silenced out the noise, and I focused on myself. I focused on, how am I going to build this? If nobody supports me locally in the beginning, it's okay, it's fine. How am I going to expand it? You know, how am I going to reach to different states, different countries? So then what ended up happening is I met a very, very, very good friend of mine. His name is Mike the Compass. Well, Mike Mitchell on Instagram. He's Mike the Compass. He has a YouTube channel. Does the whole sneaker thing. I met him in 2015. And then when I met him, it's crazy because the first year of the brand, it took off.
Mm-hmm.
It took off out of nowhere because he loved the brand. He loved the message. He loved what it was about. So when he started doing videos, it took off. And it's crazy because it took off, but then it got to a point where it just went down because of personal things that were going on. But the thing is, I've learned so much. Like, I became so much more wiser. You can't, when it comes to like your personal life and business, you have to, when you're focused on business, you gotta focus on that. You can't let your personal life interfere because thoughts become things.
Yeah.
And if you start thinking negative, it's gonna affect your business.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, now it's at the point, like, when I'm focused on my business, I'm focused on my business. When I'm with my son, I'm with my son. When I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym. When I'm working my job, mind you, I was self-employed for 2 years. I went through some things, I had to go back. So then I got a job. When I'm at my job, I'm focused on my job. So that's a very important thing. Whatever you're doing, focus on that moment. Because if you think about something else, you're not fully focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a discipline that I'm still needing to figure out too, to be honest.
Discipline is key, bro.
Yeah.
Discipline is key.
No,
Do you have any questions?
he answered one of the questions I had already. I was going to ask him how he came up with the name, but he answered that when he was talking.
So, question then, because you said like how you had to like start over again in essence.
Yeah,
So I have a curious. Is that the like? Did you learn anything from that?
I learned a lot.
What did you learn?
I learned a lot. When the brand took off, and I don't want to get too personal.
Oh no, we get personal in here.
I went through some stuff with the relationship I was going on at the time, and it wasn't because of that person.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it was both of us, and things weren't working out. So when that whole
It's really just turned into Dr. Phil. Sorry.
when
That's important. People don't realize.
But it's personal. It's
I have
about the
another-
personal
I have a
things.
follow-up.
Because
Go
this is
ahead.
the thing. When you start talking about things like that, somebody else that's going through the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna hit them,
Yep.
bro. Because that's what I've been doing lately. I've been listening to other people that have went through the same thing, and I'm like, yo, they overcame it. What am I stressing about? I can overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I went through that. You know, that breakup, that relationship, and it like mentally, I was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I was really fucked up. And as far as like the business, my mind was everywhere. I mean, you have a child and your thoughts are everywhere. You're like, you know, is the decision you made, was it right? There's a lot that goes into it. So the brand went down. Mind you, I was posting up content, but I didn't really come out. I didn't come out with no products until like 3 months, 2.5 months later, around that time. And my thing was like, you can skyrocket like this. Your business can blow up. But the moment it goes down, it's all about you realizing the same way you blew up, now you could get back there. You understand? So you got to put yourself back. So what I did is I put myself back in those shoes, and I did what I had. The same thing I did in the beginning, I did the same exact thing. But I did it with a different approach. I was like, all right, so this happened. I'm not going to allow it to happen. So I'm going to make sure that I do the right things for it to keep going up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So...
That's fire.
But it's amazing because this is another thing too. When I first started off, when I got a manufacturer, and this is when I started falling in love with the actual pieces, with the actual fabric, the product. It gets fun, bro. Like, it's crazy when, you know, I'm talking to my manufacturer in Pakistan, and he's teaching me a bunch of things. And that's another thing too, is like when you try something new, then you fall in love with it, then you start learning new things, bro. It's the best part, man.
Process.
Yeah.
The process is everything.
Yeah.
You seem really big on like learning. So like, how has that affected your business? You being so willing to learn. Like, I feel like how do you? So I have a problem with, I'm trying to figure out how I can listen to people but still be aggressive, or like keeping my vision. So how do you manage to balance that?
Your circle. Your circle is very important. Like my circle, I learned a lot from everybody in different aspects. And my circle, there are a lot of older guys. So it's like personal life, business-wise. Shout out to Rob Bailey, Flag Norfeld, big fitness company. I've learned a lot from him. Everyone that I know. Shout out to everyone. I've learned a lot from them. My thing is that it's like I'm very big on your circle. And you have to evaluate your circle. Sometimes you got to come to the realization and look who's around you. Like, are you learning from them, or are you just wasting your time?
Right.
You know? And that's one thing, like, when my son gets older, it's like when you get older, the older you get, start evaluating your friends. Because are you just chilling with them at home playing video games, or are they helping you out towards your future and you guys are building? You understand what I'm saying? So your circle is very, very important. And my thing is like, I don't surround myself around no negativity. I don't surround myself around nobody that's not moving at the same pace I am. Because I'm moving, I'm working. I can't slow down. Like, my time is everything. Like, my son's getting older. I have to work, you know? Right. So I can't spend 2 hours just hanging out with you, going out and doing this.
Right.
No, that late night, I could be working on something.
Right.
So.
Do you find a balance with that, especially because of this being so personal and because this is your life?
Well,
do you find time to actually decompress and actually surround yourself? Because I'm like, you were speaking on something like building that ecosystem, and you have your circle that keeps you there. But in that, do you also find time to just mellow out and surround yourself with those people? Or is that just your family and your son that really kind of works as that kind of release for you?
I mean, the thing is with me, I spend a lot of time by myself.
Yeah.
But when it comes to work, like if I'm in New York and I'm working, I'm with Chicklet, or I'm with
it's not the gum.
And his girlfriend. I just figured out.
It's like whenever I'm with them, or whenever I'm with like Eli, or it's just I don't know. I thrive off of competitive nature, like the people around me, you know. Right. So it's hard though. Balance is the most important thing in everything, like personal life, love life, business life. That's the most important thing, because if you don't do that, it can become a self-destructive thing. Like, it really can. And like, emotionally, if you're not prepared, it'll break you.
Well, that's why I asked the question, because a lot of time, yes, in the process of being a self-starter and doing your personal brand and everything, because of it being so tied to you and who you are, how do you divorce the brand from your personal? And are you able to do that, or are you not able to do that when you're out in public? Are you constantly like, now you're on because now you're wearing your brand, you're wearing Visionaire, so now people are just like, oh, that's Centron. Like, that's who you have to navigate the space in a much different way. So now that your name is out there a little more, we were just talking about it on the way here. Like, yesterday I was at the party and like 5 people on the back. Oh, you're Marquise, the podcast guy, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, do I know you? And it was like
People-
weird.
yeah, people-
That experience is dope, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys, like I was telling him, like this is just the beginning. This just happened yesterday. Did it ever happen before?
It happened a couple times before in a Dunkin' Donuts. They were just like, "Oh, you're Marquise, right?" I recognize the hair. That's what
No, it happens. Yeah.
Impact,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. Impact, bro. And it gets crazy because the more you go out, the more happens. Like every time I step out, whether it's at the gym or wherever I go, somebody's always coming up to me.
Right.
And like, yo, it's all about impact, man.
Yeah.
What you do, and this is another thing too. It's all about your why. Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, why are you doing this?
Right.
You know. And you got to remind yourself, too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes I get at a point where, yo, everything is going amazing. But sometimes I got to put myself back in my shoes when I first started.
Humble
Like,
that ass real quick.
exactly. Because then it's just, you know, you sustain and you grow. You sustain and you grow, and that's all it is.
Yeah, because it was just like a question for me. Like, do you also have boundaries when it comes up to that too? Because even yesterday, I'm out here just trying to drink and be drunk, and everybody wants to have a
No, yeah, and that's
deep
cool.
conversation
No,
about
that's
like,
cool.
oh, well, the podcast is doing this and blah blah. And I was like, I appreciate that, I really do, but that's my song. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was like a weird thing where I was just like, now I'm in a space where now I have to balance out, trying
Discipline.
to yeah, but also like knowing like, all right, Dear Reading is now associated with my name.
Yeah.
Well, is associated with my name no matter what, but not all the time do I want to have a conversation about my podcast. Like I'm more than my podcast, but it's also just like I just want to dance to this song right now.
No, I
but
feel
I
you,
also
bro.
understand
I
that
feel
I'm having a positive impact, so I also don't want to come off like snobbish and shit and be like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not talking to you right now because
You
blah, blah,
know-
blah. So it's always weird like trying to go back and forth between that. That's why I'd asked the question. Yeah.
Do you feel that at all? Like going to New York and people knowing who you are and then come. Well, I want to ask you. I wanted to touch base on that, but I'll probably hit you up after this. How do you feel like coming back home? What is that feeling like? You're going places, you're meeting all these different things, and then you're home. Like, do people like treat you different? Does success get you like? How does that affect your relationships with other people?
The
with
thing is,
older bonds.
When I go out to those places, I'm working. So it's like when I come back home, and this is something that I've been thinking about a lot because everybody's always like, yo, move to LA, move to NY, move here, move there. You're better off. Yo, at the end of the day, you have social media. I've built those connections. I go to those places, and when I come home, when I come here, it's peaceful. I'm home. I'm focusing. I don't have so many distractions going on, and that's why like I don't go out. Like what I do now is, I work my job in the morning. Then after work, I come home. I work on a brand. I'll go to the gym. Then I'll come back and I'm just working. I don't have time to be out there doing this or that. Like I have to be. I'm always home. I'm always home, and I'm just working on the brand. So I don't know. It's my thing because I'm never out.
Being so young, do you think that affects you? Like, do you feel like, well, not affects you, excuse me, but do you feel like being so young, are you just hustling, grinding until you can make it at like 30 and then take a break? Because we do say self-care is important. No, I still look at your eyes.
My thing is,
Self-care
I'm
is
all about.
important.
I'm all about impact, man. Like if I can inspire somebody, like I want to do it as long as I can.
Right.
I don't want to stop. I'm doing this for a reason. I want to be 60 and still doing it.
Right.
There's people out there doing it.
Yeah.
There's people I follow that are like 60. And this is another thing too. Age is nothing but a number. And the reason why I say that is like the other day I was working. When I was working, I delivered to this guy. He's like 73 years old. And when he was talking to me, it was like if he was in his 30s, and he was just grinding. And I'm like, yo, age is nothing but a number because he's working, he's grinding. He's out here doing what he does. He was involved in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yeah, I'm an investor. I'm about to go travel. He was going to New York to meet up with some other investors. And it's just like, yo. And this is another thing, too. I was telling him, because I go to this one business all the time, right? And all these guys that work there, they're like 40s. They're like late 30s, 40s, like mid 40s. And I'm like, how many more years you got left in here? And be like, probably like 15, 20. I'm like, you don't think you could change your life in like 5 to 10? But the thing is, before I say that, I'm like, oh, what were you into? Like the one guy I met, he's into tattooing. He always wanted to have a tattoo shop. And he's like 37, I think. And I'm like, you don't think you could still make that happen? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, yo, you can. You got time. You're not in your 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You
know?
were really the physical embodiment about speaking shit into existence.
Yeah.
No, but
Like
for
you said that
real.
earlier with his poetry book.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, you will make
He's
one.
like, no, you will. I'm like, I like that.
And-
I like that.
And like I was telling Dream, it's like, yo, you got to take the word but out of your head. But what? But no, do it.
Yeah, right.
You get,
That's
yo,
all
like I
fact.
said, speak things into existence. Thoughts become things. Law of attraction is everything, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
Talk about that all the time.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You ever heard of The Secret?
Not
Yes.
the secret.
Oh,
No,
man.
I haven't
Yes,
heard of the secret.
you read that. So is that part of another thing? Like, you from just sitting with you for like these few this hour or so, it feels like you're really educated. Like, but you didn't go to college.
No.
You just and you went back and forth in high school.
And I stood back in second grade, and that's something nobody knows about. Like, this is the first time I actually speak about this. When I was in second grade, I stood back, and I kept that within myself. Well, actually, till now, this is the first time I speak about it in
This
public.
is a Dear Reading exclusive.
I don't know why, but it was something within myself that I don't know. I always held it in, like.
But we know how that goes with like early education and like in your community and such, because a lot of people have done that. But I'm just so curious as to when I read that article about you, it was saying how like you were just eager to get out of school. But when I talk to you, I'm talking to a man who sounds educated. So you're reading these books and stuff, and I guess it's more of a statement. But do you feel like that is also part of your success? Is
Self-taught, yeah. Self-development. I mean, I'm listening to audiobooks, I'm watching interviews, and it all depends on what you do. Like, if you're in the medical field, you got to go to school.
mm-hmm.
But if you want to do something else, if you want to do music or this and that, Google, YouTube,
Yeah.
Right.
whatever question
Everything.
you have, you can just ask.
And I think people forget
So,
that.
yo, for real. And then I just learned off of that. My thing is I can't go to a school and you speak to me about business and you've never opened up a business.
Right.
You're going off of the books.
Right.
Theory versus practice. Yeah. Because that's something now getting into more of the business side of things and the influence side of things. What is that like when you talk? Because you even talked about when you were at the basketball game yesterday, courtside seats. Wow. But also, like in your mind, you were just like, wow, I want these people to be wearing my brands. But you talked about it in a space where instead of getting like the big names to wear your brands before, your strategy was to talk about who are the people on the bench, who are their friends, and how do you connect with them. So how is your strategy going forward when you talk about influencers and getting people to buy into your vision? No pun intended, but kind of.
It comes down, because this is the thing, everybody tries to connect with, like, so for instance, when I connect with somebody, sometimes it happens out of luck.
Mhm.
Like, when I met Chicklet, the way I met Chicklet was because of his friend, which is Elijah. The way I met Elijah was through Instagram. I sent him a DM. I told him I love his music. I love what he's doing. And that's another thing, too. I have to really like what you're doing. And when I was sitting at the game yesterday, and lately I've been going through so much, and mentally I've been becoming stronger and stronger. I'm like, yo, everybody on that bench has a story. They probably all came from the hood. And look what they're doing now. They're sitting at I started thinking about Lonnie.
Right.
I'm like, yo, Lonnie's from here, and all these people are going to see him play. Like, I could only imagine that feeling. And as I was walking in with my boy, Moses, shout out to Mo, New Heights Grocery.
Shout out to Mo.
When we were walking in, I was like, yo, look at all these people that are here. Like, this is crazy. Like, imagine the feeling of being a player and all these people coming to watch you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it gets deeper than that. Because I want to know, like, their story. Like, lately, I've been like, I want to get to know, like, everybody's story. Because we all have a story.
Everybody has a story.
You know? Even our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another thing, too. Like, I just found out that, well, my mom's real mom and her father, well, basically what happened is the people I was raised with, I thought my mom's dad was with the people I was raised with, well, like my aunt's mom. No, what ended up happening was when my mom was 2 years old, she got abandoned from her mom. She left her with her dad at the time. Her dad was an alcoholic. Her dad's best friend, he told them, which is the people that I basically grew up with, if they can take care of my mom. This is all information I found about, like, last week. And ever since that happened, I'm like, yo, my mom went through that. My dad was raised without his real father. They got together, and it's just like hearing different stories and just learning from that. Like that really impacted me. So at the game, I was like, yo, like I just want to learn everybody's story and just everybody I connect with, everyone, like Chicklet, everyone. Whenever we talk and we have personal conversations, it's more, and it's all about the vision, bro. And that's what I always say. Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a story, man.
And I think that's the powerful part of your brand, especially because you were ahead of the game when it comes to marketing and like what's popular to how to be a marketer. A lot of people go into cause-based marketing now. So if people won't simply just buy into Nike, they won't simply just get it just to get it. They have to get behind what Nike is doing and what their mission is. So yeah, putting black people, putting Colin Kaepernick, Serena, Tiger Woods, and stuff. That gets black people to want to buy. And so it's just like that why behind it, the message behind it. People won't just say, oh, well, like, I'm going to go get some Jordans now or whatever. Like, it's you buy into the idea of the brand and what they believe in as opposed to just simply getting into something. So I think with you were already ahead of the curve because you were already talking about here's where Visionary came from. Here's the vision board that was sitting right there on my wall at night. Like that story that you were telling me.
And that's why I do it. It's not because of the clothes. Like I do it because of the meaning.
Yeah.
The clothes is
and
the
I think
product
that's
comes
that's
after, and just making sure that the product is amazing. And another thing is too is I within the product it's like it develops every month. It becomes better every month. So like everybody, I feel like a lot of people when I have conversations, whenever they're first starting something or they're trying to figure it out, they try to perfect it right away. You have to grow. You have to start and grow, and that's what I did. I started and then I grew. The product, the fabric became better and better and better, and that's the most important thing is just starting and growing and perfecting your craft as you grow.
I fucks with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are some highlights when it comes to your path right now? Because it feels like you're on a journey. So I'm gonna say you're on a journey, and we get to be part of that. But can you give us some highlights? Like,
let's see.
Anything that really stands out? Like, damn, I know I'm doing a good job.
Who was one person that wore your brand and you were just like, oh shit, this person is wearing my brand?
Bro, to be honest, that feeling, it's been with multiple people, but the one that hit me the most, it's a Spanish artist. His name is Arcángel. If you see it, it's like Archangel. He's been in the game for like Daddy Yankee. Like when Daddy Yankee was around, he's a legend. And he's still out. He's killing it now. I don't know if you ever heard of like Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
So like he put on Bad Bunny. So the one day I'm at his house, and shout out to Joey, man, because Joey was the reason why. He's a mentor of mine. He's a lot older. He's actually his assistant now. So shout out to you, bro. I know you're out there somewhere killing it. But I met him through him, and then the one night, it was probably like the second, third time we go out to one of his performances. We get to the event, and then we get there ahead of time, and then he comes because he was at home still doing stuff. So then he pulls in, he's wearing the white Visionaire shirt, and it says the Vision on the back. So then I'm like, I didn't even know what was gonna happen. I looked at Joey, I'm like, yo, bro, he's wearing the shirt, and he's just smiling at me. And then he goes on stage, and it was packed. It's called Barcode in New Jersey. He got on stage, he started performing, and then when he was performing, he was looking out at the crowd. There was one point where he turned around, went to grab water. So right before he was going to turn back to the crowd, he looked up because they have a big screen, and he seen the back of his shirt. It said, the Vision. So he looked up, he sees the Vision, he sees the crowd of people, and then he looks at me. And then he winks, and he smiles, and I'm like word.
That's dope.
Because that's what it's about. So then he turned back around, and boom, he killed it. And then the next day, he posts up a post on his Instagram with the back of the shirt saying the Vision. He talks about his vision.
Wow.
That's what it's about.
That's fucking dope. That's crazy.
That's what it's about. And that experience right there, it was crazy.
I just like,
I know. I'd have been like, that's my shirt. That's my shirt. Word.
It's crazy, man. It's all the people I've met. And the thing is like if I say I'm gonna meet the person, I'm gonna meet the person. I'm gonna find a way.
That's dope. This was, I don't know. I'm like, damn. All right, throwing the table away. That's
No, really though.
making moves. That's dope. Do you have any lasting words before we move into the Dear Reading segment? You can just leave it for your Dear Reading, actually.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. But once again, thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
This
that was a dope interview.
That's
Oh,
a
really?
fact. I'm leaving
I'm
here all
upset
inspired
that,
and
I
shit.
mean, usually we don't ask for anything free, but I feel like you could have brought us some gear.
I'm screaming.
my God.
Bree, I know you really just tried to
I'm
shoot
just
the
saying,
shot.
like,
Let's move into
What we
I got you. Just start. Come on.
Sorry.
All right. So now we're gonna move. Bree, you ain't shit. But shoot your shot. 2018. But now we're gonna move into the Dear Reading segment, and so this is just the segment where you basically give an open love letter to the city of Reading and anything that we talked about in the episode or anything specifically from your interview or advice that you want to give to the city. So we'll all start first, and then we'll leave you off with the last words. Cool?
Okay.
Does anybody want to start real quick?
I'll go.
All right.
Dear Reading, if you have a dream, speak it into existence. I fucked that all up.
It's okay.
Believe in your vision. Like he said, anything that you dream, you can make possible. And don't let the haters or the doubters make you stray off your path.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Reading.
Dear Reading, trust the process. Simple as that. You're not going to get it overnight, but trust the process. Believe in yourself, and don't trust all them the white men who go into your church. Don't trust them sometimes because it's been real dangerous in America for Black people, and other people. But other than that, really just trust the process overall. So, Bree?
Dear Reddin, I'm just gonna say, love thy brother, love thy neighbor. Yeah, short and sweet.
Okay.
Who's leaving us with the word of God?
We need
Dear
it.
Reading, first off, thank you to the whole city. I mean, I'm still here, but thank you for everything. Since I was born, just meeting everybody. Like, we're all from here. We're all doing something. And to the kids out there listening, whether you're a teenager, you're a kid, my son, when you're older, you're listening to this. If you have a dream, if you have a vision, pursue it. Like I said, don't ever feel like somebody tell you can't do something, because you could do whatever you want to do. If somebody else is doing it, you can do it too. There's so much I can say. I could go on, but just stay true to your vision, stay true to yourself, and go make things happen, man. Go make things happen. Time is short. Time is very short. In a snap of fingers, your life. 10 years later, like right now, it's crazy. Like, my son's about to be 2, and I'm like, yo, it's crazy. Like, time flies. So take advantage of your time, make the most out of it, and yeah, thank you.
Word.
Thank you, man.
Now,
Dope interview.
yeah, thanks for being here. Claps. But we ain't done yet. We ain't done.
Wait.
So,
What are we
because
doing?
I am so uncouth,
Random questions.
not the rant, well, yeah, that too, but because I'm so uncouth, first and foremost, thank you to Jay from Bogota City for
shout out
partnering
Jay.
with us
Thank
for
you.
this podcast. If you're wondering why our sound is so immaculate, let me touch crispy. Yes. Do you hear that? But
Crying.
that it is super dope to actually be in an actual studio